Interesting question. The best era for music concerts. People always have theories about what was the best era and who they would like to have seen and what they like to sing. Now I got asked that the best era for music concerts. Wow, that's a toughie. If I'm honest, I got to say the '60s through the '80s. If I'm honest, I think the '60s because you could pay so less and see so many acts, and you had some big, incredible shows in the '70s. That's where acts really took it to another level with the album-oriented projects. And then the '80s, before the videos took over, but there are certain acts that you could see. You still had good shows, and you still have good performances till today. But at the height where there wasn't so much side distraction, where the videos didn't take over and people had to play and sing, I'm going to say the '60s through the '80s probably had the best era of that if you were going for certain live acts. There was a time and point we cared about a live act, and what we meant by a live act, your stuff was plugged in, you were singing live. You remember when Prince did that thing on with Tara Smiley says, "My microphone is on, my mouth is actually moving, it is real." You need to have people reminded of that because so often than not, people don't. Now, if you are singing live to a pre-recorded track, if your voice is an instrument, I'll give you a pass on it because you're still using it live. You can actually bring it live, so I'll give you that because cats don't want to pay that money for those expenditures for a band, and it may or may not require that. Even though I would like that, it may not require that. But if you just sit up there just in totality, just 100% where you never did it live, you know. But people want different things for entertainment. But if I'm going by that, I think obviously when you think about Woodstock, you think about if you got to see Jimi Hendrix back in the day, or Sly and the Family Stone, or the Jackson Five back in the day, live stuff, or you got to see, Carlos Santana and the bands play, Journey back in the day. I can name a lot of acts. Miles Davis, some of his stuff, Weather Report, Return to Forever. You get to see some people with their chops on display. Buck Owens and seeing Buck Owens and Roy Clark. Roy Clark playing with Hee Haw. That would have been something to see live playing with Roy Clark's picking. Where he would pick, or seeing the Carpenters with Karen Carpenter on drums and singing. Earth, Wind and Fire, Ruth Shaka Khan. I can go on. See, I get excited about a particular era where I know people had to bring it live. I know where you had to bring it live. I know where you had to sing. You get to see an Ella Fitzgerald or Frank Sinatra. You had to do it. Or Quincy Jones was conducting one of his orchestras. Those sort of things. That's back where it meant something to see. Or like getting to see a Lionel Hampton or Roy Ayers from the Vibes. So best era of concerts for me, or time of seeing people live, well, I'd say probably the '60s to the early '80s, before the video era took over, before everything became so digitalized that that it was drawn in for reasons that because everything was played to the vest, that you had to recapture that imagery, and sometimes people don't get to catch you in your rawest form for what you're doing as an artistry, you know. Because, so often than not, you put on the show within the context of a show. And that's one of the things that kind of worked against Michael Jackson, because as great as he was and considered the greatest entertainer to ever live, one of the things that worked against him is that after the videos came out, so often than not, he was trying to recapture that on stage and would do that in display. But when you know the stories and accounts of how he went to the studio and beatbox and did his percussion from his voice and laid down the foundation, you're like, whoa, love to have seen him doing that live, unplugged, unstripped, those kind of things you long for. You long for like that, Al Green just singing live and Luther Vandross singing live, Marvin Gaye, Steve Wonder. I can just throw you people that you felt it. But that represents that particular era. A particular era where acts were bringing it like that. So, because I used to love to watch the gospel segment of the Grammys. I didn't care so much about the awards, but the gospel part of the show was must see. They would bring it. So, if you know what I'm talking about, let me know. Please hit like, subscribe, work on thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another initiative if you like. Hit that membership, because when you do, questions like this will come forth. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay true, stay woke, stay free. I'm out one time. Peace.